Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. WildMax1 here bringing another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today on the account, we're doing another champion guide, this time on one of the MVP supports for my account. Without a doubt, Spirit Affinity support from the Sylvan Watchers faction, Mr. Firrol the Barkhorn. We're going to be doing a champion overview, I'll be doing a skills breakdown, showing you how to build this guy right, and finally, showcasing him in Hydra Clan Boss. And with that, let's get right into it. So Firrol was released in December of 2023, and since then has made his way on some of the top damage dealing teams in the game for Hydra. He has good buffs, good debuffs, and he has a unique damage boosting passive that makes him one of the most desirable supports in the game. When I pulled him, I didn't quite understand at first, but then after I built a team around him, supporting him and his skills, he really made my damage dealers shine. And with that, let's take a look at his kit. Starting with his A1. Clobber Trunk. Attacks one enemy, has an 80% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns, books up to a 100% chance. If the target is a boss, will also ignore 20% of the target's res. So you'll see that one of the themes of this champ is, even though he requires accuracy, it's a little bit easier to build him just because he has built-in ignore res on both of his abilities that place debuffs. On his A2, Boreal Growth. Attacks all enemies, has a 75%, booking up to 100% chance of placing a 50% decreased accuracy and a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. If the target is a boss, once again, has that 20% built-in ignore res. This is on a 4-turn, booking down to a 3-turn cooldown. Excellent Hydra ability. It's one of the key debuffs that you need in Hydra to prevent the placement of, buffs on the Head of Wrath or Poison Cloud going out. So having block buffs on a 3-turn cooldown makes him an exceptional Hydra champ already. Now looking at his A3, Aurora Cloak places a 50% increased res buff on all allies for 3 turns. Also places Perfect Veil on all allies except this champ for 2 turns. That's on a 6-turn, booking down to a 4-turn cooldown. Again, 2 exceptionally useful buffs in this case for Hydra. Perfect Veil helps True Fear not go out on your entire team, although he's not safe from it, but that's okay. Your damage dealers and your other supports are going to be the important ones. They're going to be getting that immunity from True Fear while they have Perfect Veil on them. Also helps with AoE damage going out. Increased res is really good for hitting those resistance thresholds that you might need for Hydra. Such a good ability, and on a 4-turn cooldown to boot. Now let's take a look at the passive, which is the real prize of this champion. Spirit of the North. If an ally is under 2 or more buffs, increases their res by 50. If an ally is under 3 or more, increases their accuracy by 50. And if an ally is under 4 or more buffs, increases their damage dealt by 20%. Straight up passive, amazing, right? So again, I said he helps because it's not as hard to build him because he boosts his own accuracy if he's got 3 or more buffs. And he's also got the built-in ignore res. So it's not as hard to hit accuracy thresholds with Firrol. But the real prize of this passive and of this whole champ is that 20% on all damage dealt from your damage dealers as long as they have buffs on them. So that means as long as you support him correctly, and what I mean by that is you want to make sure that buffs stay on your champions. So you want to build a team where there's potentially some buff extenders, right? Maybe like a Krisk, a Demitha, Taras, an Aniri, a Lady Mikage. Any one of those pairs really well with Firrol for this passive and for keeping buffs up on your champions. So just a really, really good kit, applicable anywhere, right? 20% extra damage you could use pretty much anywhere, but he really shines in the different clan bosses. Demon Lord, Hydra, Chimera, he's good in all of them. All right, let's take a look at his aura. 60% res in all battles. Very solid. Such a good champ. Amazing kit. And with that, let's take a look at his stats. 18k HP, that's fine. Attack is irrelevant on this champ. Good high defense. He is a defense-based champ. 100 speed. It's not the fastest, but honestly, you're not going to be using him for any speed comps. He's pretty much there just to be a totem and support your team with that damage increased passive, the block buffs, and then the really good buffs for your team. All right, and the rest are fine, regular stats. So for building this guy, you're going to be looking to get adequate speed for whatever content you're going to be running him in. You're going to be looking to make him tanky and survivable, HP and defense, and then you're going to be making sure that he has enough accuracy, and if you want him to have it, the resistance as well. So really for him, he's not exactly an arena god, right? He's not in the meta right now. I don't know if he ever will be. He would perform fine on like on a classic arena attack team, depending on what tier you're in. If you can build him, I suppose, super fast and have him be applying block buffs before the enemy team can take a turn. Although I think that your resources are better spent elsewhere and that gear is better used on other champions for that purpose. But again, for PvE content, which is where this guy really shines, you want to make sure that he's fast enough, has enough accuracy, has enough resistance if you care about that, and that he's tanky. And that's it. The rest of it is just throw him in the team and watch all the benefits you're going to get. So with that, let's go take a look at how I have my Firrol built. Now, as I've already mentioned, he is on all of my clan boss teams. So I have him in Demon Lord, I have him in Hydra on my Nightmare team, as well as in my Ultra Nightmare Chimera team, just for that passive damage boost that he delivers along with the excellent buffs to my team. So I have him in what I believe is the uncontroversially best set for Firrol, which is protection. It gives him speed, tanky stats, and most importantly, gives him protection on his buffs and synergizes nicely with his passive because of the 5% extra damage to whoever he places buffs on, which synergizes nicely with his passive of the 20%. So he's with protection, with the 9-piece protection, giving 30% damage increase to your damage dealers, which is really, really excellent. And it's really what you're bringing him for in the first place. And what I mean by that is that his damage percent increase on his passive is really the thing that sets him apart from all other block buffs or perfect veil champions. All right, now talking more about the sets, if you don't have 9-piece protection, what can you use? Really, the answer is anything. You can even use perception on him if you want. He is that good. He has so much utility, make him fast, make him accurate, and bring him on the team. But if you're really looking to maximize from sets, I would say 9-piece protection is best. After that, I would probably choose something that would let him cycle through his abilities more. So I would probably go for something like a reflex or impulse or relentless potentially. After that, I would say 6-piece protection set would be nice on him. And then after that, you can have resilience if you have that, a ton of that, or perception or whatever. Any of those work. All right, so with that, let's take a look at my actual pieces that I have on him. Again, these are not going to be min-maxed pieces or perfect pieces because I really was aiming to get that 9-piece protection buff. So some of these, this is a defense ring, but if I had an attack ring here, I wouldn't hesitate to put it on there, provided it didn't screw up his total stats too much just to get that 9-piece protection bonus. All right, so I have a defense ring, some HP substat rolls, I have a defense amulet, and I have a defense banner on him. For his gloves, I have defense. Defense or HP percent is fine on that. I would prefer a defense or HP percent on his chest piece. Maybe accuracy if I was really low and had none in my substats on any of the other gear. But in this case, I happen to have enough. And then for boots, speed with defensive ascension, although that's ideally, that would be speed. But in this case, I happen to have enough for all the content that I put him in. Total stats on him, just under 60k HP, 4.6k defense, around 270 speed, and the rest is pretty much irrelevant except for accuracy. So I have right around 350 accuracy, which if you know about Nightmare Hydra, that is a little low for Nightmare Hydra for a debuffer. But again, because of the 50 extra accuracy that he passively puts on the team through having 3 or more buffs and through the 20% ignore res in his A1 and his A2, Firrol actually functioned just fine with just 350 for all content that I have him in. When it comes to relics on Firrol, there's not really anything that you can find other than the super high-end relics that are going to be very impactful or change the way that you play with him, right? So I think the important thing that you look for on relics is the stats in this case. I happen to have a Gilded Dragonstone that I wasn't using, which has defense and more increased defense on him. For the sockets, it gives him extra healing, an extra turn meter. So all those are helpful when it comes to the content that I run him in. But really, he doesn't need this. He can perform just fine without it. If I was missing accuracy, I would consider putting like a Molten Death Bell on him for that extra accuracy and defense. Or if you really don't know what to put on him, you could put on a Rod of Blasphemy, for example, get a little extra HP on him. and have him receive a little less damage if he's under debuffs, although because of his natural tankiness and the fact that he has increased res that he places, he's not really prone to taking a lot of debuffs anyway. If you're really rolling in the relics and you're wondering top end things you can throw on him, any support relics with good stats. So Hallowed Hilt would obviously be fine, although he doesn't really heal, but the stats themselves are great for him. If you happen to have a Infernal Prototype, if you're in a difficult encounter and he's taking a lot of damage, this can help reset his skills. The Heart of Caspiel, you're not getting a ton of value out of this, though, because both of his A1 and his A2 are doing damage. So really, you're only getting that 5% turn meter up to 15% turn meter every time you're using his A3. So again, Firrol, I wouldn't really worry too much about putting what kind of relic I'm going to be putting on him. Just make sure that he is tanky. Make sure that you're hitting your stat breakpoints that you need for accuracy and for speed. And other than that, just enjoy the champ as he is. He's going to be phenomenal regardless of what relic you have on him. Now, when it comes to blessings on Firrol, there are a couple of really good options. I chose to go with Brimstone since he's going to be the only one bringing Brimstone on the comps that he's on. But if you already have a Brimstone user, then I would recommend going with Cruelty. If you already have a Cruelty on the comp that you're bringing him in on, then I would recommend going down to Harmony and picking up Neutralize. With Poison Cloud going out, obviously you would ideally have block buffs up every time that the head uses Poison Cloud, but if you don't, this can help you apply debuffs through Poison Cloud. So if you don't need Brimstone, you don't need Cruelty, I would go for Neutralize just to double down on that in Hydra Clan Boss. Now, when it comes to Masteries on Firrol, there's a lot of different effective ways you can build him. I decided to go, let me move myself here so you can see this better. I decided to go with War Master on him. And the reason for that is that I already have enough accuracy from my gear, enough resistance from my gear, which I'm not really focusing on, so that I can feel comfortable going for a little bit more damage to try to get a little better numbers on Chimera and Hydra, right? So War Master is what gives me that little bit of extra oomph because he doesn't really do that much damage with his A1 or his A2. For secondary, I went down the support tree, picking up that extra accuracy from Charge Focus, Swarm Smiter, and then I went down and I picked up Master Hexer and Lasting Gifts since he is a buff and debuff placer. Now, if you're missing accuracy on your Firrol, you don't have enough for whatever encounter you're going for, feel free to ditch War Master and go down and pick up Eagle Eye. Or if you want to have him be your Mischief tank and you want to make sure he hits enough resistance to not get that stripped by the Head of Mischief and Hydra, then by all means go down the defense tree and then pick up Unshakable. Any one of those options is good. You just have to decide what's best for your Firrol. All right, and for the showcase, in today's video, I wanted to show you guys my Nightmare Hydra team. So obviously Clash hasn't begun yet, so we're not going to save this particular run, but I just wanted to show you guys what I could do and the team that I have Firrol on in Hydra. So this team's all about empowering Ninja. He's my primary damage dealer, trying to get him to deal as much damage as possible. Elva is currently my only reviver and my primary source of healing. Mikage, Teox, and Mad Hatter are all there to support Ninja and to boost his damage through ally attacks. Ninja applies his own perfect veil, but Firrol also gets that for the rest of the team, keeping them safe from the Head of Torment. Then Mikage and Mad Hatter both have an extended duration to buffs, which keeps Firrol's passive up as much as possible. And yeah, so the best result that I've ever gotten with this team was just over 1 billion damage. This was the first time that I hit that threshold in Nightmare, so I was very happy with that. Before I had Firrol on this team, that was virtually impossible. I wasn't getting numbers nearly that high. He's really what supercharged this team when he came in. So let's show a few turns here with this team and give you guys an idea of like all the things that Firrol does for the team. Now, Head of Torment's obviously not present in this first little setup here for the Hydra. We also don't have any provokes on this team, keeping that in mind. So we're going to try to kill the Head of Decay as quickly as possible here. You want to make sure you get 2 A1s by Teox just to maximize, get his 50% increased attack on that. We're going to start rotating Ninja's abilities just to start stacking his escalation. And we're going to try to kill the Head of Decay pretty much before it can get a turn, if we can get there. So we'll see. All right. Regardless of whether we get the cleanse or not, I want to throw out the block buffs because I don't want the Head of Blight to be putting out Poison Cloud. All right, now we're going to continue working on the Head of Decay. Okay, there we go. Only one Poison Cloud went out. We had a weak hit here on the Head of Suffering. No big deal, though. Extending the buffs with Mad Hatter now. Going in with Ninja's A1, which is going to proc from Teox's A1. Then I'm pretty sure Ninja's going to be able to kill here. All right, cool. So now we're off to the races. We can run on auto for a little while. They should be targeting this head. Ninja's already putting up hits of 1,000,000 with that really solid damage boost passive. Let's see how much he can do right here. 1.2. Ninja still needs to ramp. He gets to a point eventually where he starts hitting things like close to like 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 million with his A1, especially when it's through either Teox or Mad Hatter. All right, so we're going to continue to whittle down the Head of Wrath here with Ninja's A1s. And this is basically just how it works. We have, I like to put Firrol's decreased speed on the dead heads. This way I can keep them in that state for a while until I'm ready to put that big hit on it. And this way it keeps one of the heads pretty much out of the game while I work on another one. That's kind of the whole strategy that this particular setup is built around. So here we go. As this one is still dead, now we're working on the Head of Wrath. Now we can hit this one since then it's going to be respawning soon. Here we go. Usually you want to hit it so that the last hit is going to cause the respawn. That's how I've been playing it. All right. We have block buffs up on the Head of Wrath, so even though that procced, he wasn't able to put on reflect damage or any of the other nasty little things that he can do on himself. And now we're just going to bring him down eventually. And this is just kind of how the team flows. But it's all built around the fact that if the Head of Torment is out, Firrol's Perfect Veil keeps the team from getting True Feared, and it's making sure that neither the Head of Blight nor the Head of Wrath nor the Head of Mischief can have any opportunity to put up any kind of, to steal buffs or put up any buffs that are going to derail my run. And without Firrol, I'd be missing two key components for this team. All right, everybody, and there you have it. Firrol the Barkhorn, one of the best supports in the game. Just build a team around him, make sure you have some buff extenders, and watch his passive go to work for your team. If today's guide was helpful for you, please let me know. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know down in the comments below if there's any other champions you'd like to see a guide for. Thank you for watching today's video. Thank you for your time. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.